G'day and welcome back to Ranless Sea. It's time to do planning again. What missions do we have? Alright, we really need to find Station 3 and get rid of these long boxes. They're not very helpful. The ivory... I really wish you could store things in London. I remember seeing a mod for that. Got a diplomatic agent's journal. We're meant to go to Dahut. Got an offer. We've been asked to pick something up. Objectives. Here we go. And we need to get strategic info from Khan. We're meant to get a package from Polythreme. We should do more salt lines. We need to go to Irem. We definitely want to put our ship in dry dock, and we want to spend our favor here. We've got 2k, which isn't enough to really do anything with. I mean, it would be nice to get a better ship, but the better ship that we would want is at least the Corvette, which it could do, but that doesn't increase our hold capacity. So really what I want is this one. This is the one I want most. Or potentially the frigate. I want the higher hold capacity. The frigate is the one with all the slots, so definitely that's one that I kind of eventually want to have, even though obviously I lose some hold capacity. And ideally, you know, it'd be kind of nice to have this, even if it massively drops your veils. But you can deal with that by just massively boosting your veils. We are going to cheap out, and we're going to use the Admiralty favor, because we have a really good way of generating it, so why wouldn't we? Shops, what do we have? We've got lots of fuel, we've got some supplies. We'll grab some more supplies because we've increased our crew. We do in fact need more supplies. The plan will be to try and get some more Sphinxstone on the way back. I need to get to Polythreme. So I've already been to Palmerston. Polythreme, as I recall, should be towards the center. So basically if I go out here, I'll go out here, I'll stop off at Demo Island and then go along here. I'll probably stop here, and then I'll kind of go around here and then kind of loop back Port Cecil, Pigmote, Gatorsmorn, Venderbite, this way, depending on how much other things I've got. And I think that is everything I would want to do, so off we go. We'll stop off at Demo. We're gonna go slightly... Oh, hi there, Mr. Crab. Missed him. Not really a big deal. I don't want to stick around and fight him. Those things have way too many hit points. So the flare basically helps us quickly find a target. And it's useful in some stories, which is the other reason for potentially having them. Okay, so have we eaten? Yeah, we have. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a port report, and we're going to have tea with the Factor, which drops our terror, gives us some fragments, and gives us some supplies. And yeah, he tells us stuff, that none of which seems particularly relevant at this point in the game. Which port were you? Did you tell me? No. I think that was the one where I screwed up because I needed to breathe underwater and I accidentally left the storylet that I wanted, which is super annoying and frustrating. I wish I had some clue of where Polythreme is, but this map changes every time you die. Because the Neath is funny. It is a funny place, full of funny people doing funny things. Okay, and we might as well dive here and hope that we don't run into anything we have to run from. Don't know that that actually causes any problems. And it's over here, right? I'm right on top of it. Seriously, I'm right on top of it. Where the heck am I meant to be? That's actually really worrying. Oh, okay. Okay. That, was a pointless worry. I mistook that for an undersea thing. Now, because this may be a relatively extended stay. We've got the cash, right? Which means we can do it, because we can restock at various places. Shepherd Isles. Well, yeah, no, that sounds good. We'll go there. Shepherd Isles are where you can get one of the more valuable port reports if you're good at lying. Which we honestly are not as much as I'd like to be, but we're fairly good. Especially by the normal standards of a starting character. And in we go. Sheep, lichen, standing stones. Of course, the bearded watchman tells you there are no actual shepherds on the Shepherd Isles. Just sheep are mostly illegal here. No, indeed, it's just the name of the gentleman that founded the islands. Greybeard sitting in this village nods solemnly. No sheep, one says, but plenty of tales. Ask us anything. Let's find out about the tales of Thornwell Croft. What about the Isle of the North, the one that isn't bridged? Wrong kind of people. One's a farmer there. They're us, me and you. All the other versions of us. One with a trick leg, one that married his cousin, one that was buried alive. Characters out of another history. Waiting up there, plotting, gathering allies, waiting to make their history ours. So don't go there. You won't find them anyway, being they hides in the barn. Okay. And, oh, hello. Yes, I will get a new first officer. You'll increase mirrors and veils, and probably give me more options. Let me guide your ship. I know all the sea, how it was, how it will be. Please, the headaches only stop when I'm working. Absolutely. Thank you. The nonsense here was a distraction for a while, but only the sea can help me now. Oh God, the air. It's clear already. Let me chart a course for you. My head. A point. Yep. Cool. Got the sigil-ridden navigator. Compile a port report. Yes, there have been a lot of goings on here. And that's really all there is. I mean, there's also expensive supplies. Not too expensive when it comes to actual supplies. But otherwise, yeah. I might just grab one. Top it up. Okay. So, what do? We can go right, we can go left. We can... been to Port Cecil before. Guess we'll go right. Ooh, Station 3, yes. A hiss of horror from the lookout. Glimlight in front of the ship is sputtering and arcing, fizzing with light. Let's attempt to calm them because we got plenty of hearts. This is a perfectly natural explanation. It gives us a fragment. Light, the darkness in these is more than the absence of light. It's a physical presence. It distorts the shape of the world. The light melts into darkness and restores the sanity to the world. Explain something of this to the sailors. It's not the first time they've heard of it, but they seem slightly less nervous. Yes, Station 3. We have 3 boxes that I want to get rid of. And it's a pretty cool place with some pretty cool stories. So we will absolutely go straight there. Here we go. Station 3. Nothing sus happening here. Marvelous. Station 3. Machinery hums behind high steel walls. So we should train our telescope on the shore. So this is the one time we get to get a port report from here. Because the Admiralty knows what's going on here. And let's search for signs of other visitors. Okay, stacked near the stairs is a pile of worn-out tools. Tongs whose hinges have given way, a hammer whose head is coming loose from its haft, an anvil whose surface is mazed with deep cracks. Next to them a sign, Replace. And we got 100 fragments, and now let's deliver a long box. The only way past the walls is not imposing but sturdy-looking triple-locked gate, silvery metal. A sign that just reads strangely. A sign beside it reads Deliveries. The gate stands open. The only way past the walls is an unimposed... Yeah, we already read that. There are no stevedores, however, and the wagon waiting to help with the heavy cargo. and no wagons waiting up with heavy cargo. There's only a sign which reads deliveries and a painted hand which points insolently up a rock-cut staircase. There's a destination in the hold marked for this. There's a cargo in the hold marked for this destination. A long, low, heavy box. It'll be fun getting it up the stairs, no doubt. There's a great deal of grumbling from the crew. Stairs are sharp-edged and wet. The box is heavy, and its contents inclined to shift. After a few slips and a bad bruise to the shin, you resort to placing crew members along the stairs and handing the box along. There's a warehouse at the top of the stairs, but it's not, apparently, your destination. Another sign points along the narrow path towards the buildings with the spire. Deliveries, it says, more aggressively this time. Someone in the spire building is singing. The song sets your teeth on edge. So we can send the head for extra hands. We can try and carry it into the building, or we can break into the warehouse and leave the box there. Sign says deliveries, but it doesn't mean the deliverers are obliged to comply. I've never done this one. Let's do that. Was it worth it? The lock is made of a thick, heavy metal and bitter cold to the touch. For some time you think it might actually fail, if the mechanism is actually frozen solid. But just when you think your pick's about to snap, the lock gives way. Not that it does you any good. The warehouse is already so full that when you open the door, a box falls out, glass shattering within. Pale silver leaks around your feet and runs in rivulets over the stone of the path. A moment later, it sets up hard and cold as frost. So let's hide the evidence. Disposing of the box is not too difficult. It makes a splash, chucked into the water. There's a bubbling gleam from the depths as though more of the silver liquid is leaking out. But soon enough, box and bubbles are out of sight. The warehouse door closes too. With enough effort, you even manage to get the lock locked again. A more difficult place than unlocking it in the first place. It's the congealed metal on the ground that gives you trouble. It's very cold and very hard, and it has frozen in ragged slivers that threaten to cut your hands when you pry it up. It is brittle though, and you're able to smash it into flakes and pull the flakes away. At last you have done, and the scene looks no different than it did when you began. Only when that is done do you send someone up to the steeple building to ask for help. We got fragments, and we succeeded in the Veils challenge. And not much later, you are standing in the mist, watching a parade of clay men. They hoist boxes on their shoulders and march away, surprisingly quiet, towards the building with the steeple. An austere acolyte leads them, her lamp swinging on a chain. Let's follow, because the singing has gotten into our bones. She sings all the time when she's not speaking. The word of the song and bother, fascinate, and compel. Fever dreams. We walk close to the acolyte to hear the next verse. It concerns the smell of hot brick, the chime of ashes falling on the grate, and the winter pleasure of braiding pokers together on a winter's night. When there's nothing else to do. At least you think that's what it means. When you go back over the words in your head, you're not even sure they make that much sense. She directs the arrangement of the long box in the room under the steeple. There are many other boxes there already, stacked in rows 3 or 4 times as many as you've brought. In another corner of the room is a pile of wood from previous boxes already emptied and dismantled. Singing to herself about a mountain upholstered in velvet, she takes a crowbar to the box. The corpse inside is permanently dead, in a way the dead of London are often not. Not a drowning, not a tomb colonist, but not coming back either. Looks pale and ordinary except for a slight distension of the skin over the breastbone. Gently singing, the acolyte presses there and nods, singing about tulips embroidered with yellow floss. She lifts the body onto a marble slab. Without pause in her lyrics, she prepares a scalpel. Her presence doesn't seem to bother her. Let's watch with a medical interest. Whatever she's about to do is sure to be anatomically informative. The austere acolyte makes an incision over the distended place of the body, laying bare a heart-sized sphere of silver metal. It's grown there, apparently over many years, because the ribs of the corpse have curved around it without cracking. She has to break 2 of the ribs now to take out the ball. Behind it, the heart is intact but bloodless, its colour a milky grey. She notices you watching and holds her song just long enough to say, "They do not always grow in the same place, but over the heart is the most common." With a giant nutcracker, she cracks the sphere, and another sphere inside that, and another. Finally, in the center, she comes to something heavy, small, and black. She lifts it out with tongs and looks at it through her goggles. The song falters, but she manages to keep humming, though the words are lost. She puts it in the black and heavy thing into a jar, marked with the word of the correspondence. She closes the jar and seals it with red wax. Finally, when the corpse is removed again, the marble slab wiped clean, she comes to pay you, though she doesn't offer any further comment. She seems pleased by your careful attention during the autopsy, and almost smiles when she makes a payment. A pleasure, she says. Return another day. I may have something for you then. And so now we're trading in long boxes, and we've earned favor from her. So we can now return and deliver more long boxes, and we can also get an ingot, which is the kind of thing that comes from those long boxes. So we'll do that definitely, because that'll come in handy at some point in the future. The legalities of trading in hot metal are vague. If its existence were acknowledged by laws, but it's forbidden. Put it somewhere out of the way. And we'll also deliver one. More secrets of the heart. And so that gets us 100 and some more of her favor. Not entirely sure what that will do for us, but again, why not? We had 3 of them. This also frees up some spare hull capacity. And there was no shop there, and so it's time to go. We are back looking for polythrene. And I think it's going to be more easterly. So Godfall. Godfall is a territory that also you really want particular items for. What are you? Your hit points didn't show up, unfortunately. So I couldn't do much about that. Yeah, right, yep, nope, don't want to deal with you. Do want to pop that on just so we can do the discovery. And then boom, Godfall. Sometimes, just occasionally, bits of the roof fall off. Be glad you weren't here when this one did. The brawling bearded men who live here call themselves monks. They pay lip service to Saint Stalactite, which fell from the roof. But their chief interest seemed to be blood, wine, and shouting. We can offer them various things. We can also shout. Of shouting, let them tell you about the past, present, and present events in the fortress. And this is a place where you want to use a bunch of candles, which we don't really have the cargo space to just randomly carry candles around. So if we want to go here and explore, then I'll stock up on candles. And please let me know in the comments if you want me to explore some of these places. So that you get to talk to you about the history of the stalactite, which they assure you was one of the citadels of the starved men who dwell on the roof. When it fell, a few of its occupants survived to become the monks' progenitors. How does that work, you wonder, with their vows of celibacy? You become vague and are suddenly eager to speak of the details of passing shipping. And let's offer them a hunting trophy. So, louder, ever louder. The trophy inspires the monks to feasts of bragging. This one broke a giant albino more's neck. That one wrestled a heptycheer. A third one punched his way out of a bound shark. A fourth, and so on. You are largely forgotten, but there are truly truths of note amongst all of the tipsy boasting. So, that's a few different stories. Yeah, that seems pretty nice. Seems decent. They do not sell anything. And off we go. As I recall, we have something north of this. This is a problem with gaining 3 crew members. We go through food slightly faster. An extra move. So we head down. We haven't done the... I thought we had done the piece that we needed to. Let's gather our intelligence. So we got our port report. And let's explore the Coral Knoll. A raggedy fellow. We have no room. Full complement. No space. I know, for I asked, but I hoped yet. Well then, Captain, take me blessing. Hope you'll remember me another time when you have a berth to spare. For a good sailor who knows his way. He's laying it on a bit thick with all his heads, but perhaps next time you assure him. Perhaps. Okay, so that was a bit of a disappointment. Although, yeah, I will buy 1 supplies. It's kind of unclear as to how much I should be buying. Always am. But there's other opportunities, and that is not the cheapest place to buy supplies. So heading straight for Nook. Oof. Yeah, that was the Z Monster one. Definitely want to get out of this current that's pushing us. And let's dock. Ah, whoops. Ah, for frag's sake. That does not look like I shouldn't be able to go over it. A gap in this, yep. Forced open with heart metal beams. So. Let us... right, we don't have the wine. That's the problem. Last time we did have wine inadvertently. And we can't buy wine here. Oh, we could. Wow, we can sell sun-filled boxes here for 7 sapphires. Nice. And we can buy supplies here at a regular price too. And Stygian ivory pretty cheaply. So that's pretty interesting. Oh wow, and that sells really expensively. Awesome. I might buy another supplies while I'm at it. Well, it's a pity we can't actually do anything here. I've forgotten about that wine cost. I'm gonna have to remember that. It's a bit like you should take coffee to Irem when you go there. So we're just gonna go straight over to pig mode right now. And let's explore some of these other options, because pig mode's an island that's definitely expanded since the last time I played it. Hail Caviar! Hail Caviar, the Nice's most adorable nation, scurries around your legs. Scintillac harvesters drag heavy bags of the island's bounty to the silos. Industrious rodents work hard in towering edifices, some of them almost neck high. London will never believe a bloody word of this. So we can buy Scintillac, which is also good for them. And we can compile a port report. We can steal the lady's eye, which seems like a terrible idea. And then everyone leaves. But we'll grab this. Captain Whiskers, the Admiralty calls you, so you've heard. At least they pay to laugh at your reports. And then can help them resolve a dilemma. First, I'm going to buy some Scintillac. Okay, so coral that glimmers as if moonlight. It makes marvelous jewelry or terribly expensive tea. And so that also... Oh right, raise it for better prices. Cool. And let's visit the ghetto. Is there anything we can do here? Smuggle fuel into the ghetto? Sure, let's do that. So we raise their spirits. And, ooh, we got a cache of curiosity. We got wine, we could go back. Maybe. Help them resolve a dilemma. How will we advise them? Rats and cavies lie quivering on a canvas sheets in this part of town. We think it's something in the water. Thought we contained it, but it's spread now. Medicines are powerless against it. What do we do? So recommend the sick be quarantined. So it will... Yeah, this would be decisive, but I think I would rather have them be civilized. It will take workers away from other tasks, but demonstrate Caviar's compassion. And so that lost civilization, but gained spirit. Away from contaminated water, the symptoms of disease soon fade, but it'll be considerably longer before the sufferers are ready to return to work. Interesting. So, what can we do there? Right, so what you do is, the reason why you do that is that then you actually, if you raise, like, make them harsher, then their slaves work better. But I don't want that. You used to always be able to have a feast here, which is why I was like, oh, I can pop back there. But apparently not anymore, so. Let's head back to Nook. I actually want to see Nook. We screwed up last time, and that was really annoying. Okay, so let's return to Nook. Liberal ingestion of wine before a visit increases your tolerance for Nook water. And so, Again, you remove your clothes and put them safely in the watertight diving suit compartment. As the water rushes in, you're ready. Taking gulps to speed the transition feels less like drowning now, and more like baptism. You swim into Nook with skin and mind tingling, reborn in the airlock's cold steel. So, compile a port report. No one here has anything to hide. No one's hiding anything at all. Right. Take from the weak. Return, swim downwards. So we'll start with the port report. And we lost a tolerance for Nook water and gained a taste of freedom. Let's swim upward to the Great Moor. And investigate a twitching cathedral of ivory, flesh and decay. The moor curves far enough to be swallowed by the darkness of the sea. Entire shipwrecks have been mulched between the hooked teeth that dwarf London's mightiest monuments. A filthy latitudinarian, it keeps its upper cavities filled with compressed air, allowing a number of activities otherwise impossible to happen. So yeah, let's have a look through here. External surface of the roof is covered in engravings, rows of battling soldiers, some with the heads of dogs, a mountain ablaze, ships riding on a river, and each ship has a human mouth. You swim up inside to the chambers of eggy air. Do not have any recent stories, so that's not actually very helpful. Gaze up through the moor. Light glitters where false stars shine on the surface of the sea, framed by the moor's dormant teeth. How ancient is this creature? What happens if it swallows? I like how you've got that thing. So now we'll swim down, and we will attempt to mingle with the Nook folk. They acknowledge your presence, but little more. Most shrink back, assuming you mean harm. Others deliberately swim just above you in a crude attempt at intimidation. They carry bone knives or tooth-tipped spears. A few gesture to you in welcome, invitation. It's unclear. The slightly glutinous water makes speech impossible, so the natives have developed a language of signs. You can interpret the most basic. For example, a finger pulled across the throat is one of the more polite invitations to depart. Time to leave. We're no longer accustomed. So there, the bright light of your submarine's main beam, the airlock, home. Air again, how refreshing. Eagle. This is how we can deal with that too. Good, all is well. Anything that happened in Nook shall remain in Nook. And so, check the diving suit, yeah. So we also will still need wine. Yep, and let's leave. Okay, so we can head over to Gator's Morn. I should have... Was it Nook? Yes, it was. Oh well, no, we've got enough to get to Palmerston, so we'll probably do that. There we go. Let's help them resolve a dilemma. A dilemma, how will we advise them? Do you feel it, Hellas Advisor? They say a monster lives out there, where even our light cannot reach. Our farmers refuse to tend their mushrooms until we can be sure of reaching them in safety. Declared their fears superstition. Let's have a party. Yes, that's all for now. Resolved it. Didn't cost any civilization. Celebration takes the rodents' minds off the shadowy threat. By the warmth of the good fire, the vague unknown is no longer something to twitch or squeak, to squeak out or twitch their whiskers over. It may be more bravado than actual courage, but it's the kind that lasts even after the fire's burned down to charcoal. Okay, cool. So if we go straight for Palmerston, cut through, and then we can kind of go down and out. Because I don't know that we've got enough fuel to do what I would otherwise do. Admittedly, I don't have to go to Palmerston at all. But I kind of want to. Okay, Mount Palmerston, we will get... Ah, right, if we had the Veils, we could get her. I don't... Not Veils, they are linen, we could get her. But I don't. I'm not going to either. Chat to the folks to get the port report. Now, we can explore the island. Definitely want to buy fuel. Let's get 15. And, oh, this is actually only slightly more expensive than London. Let's do this. And then what we can do is we can go up the crater. Do they admit visitors to the Brimstone Convention? Probably not, but you never know. They might sell tickets. Look down and see the port-apart Palmerston like a toy and the ruins like gravel. You come far, but the volcano's cone still rears above you. Rest a little before you go the last half mile. The road to the crater ends at a brass gate in the crater wall. Beside it stands an oddly charming little cottage. It's thrown together from pumice and basalt, but it features honeysuckle. An equally charming devilish in a tea gown leans against the cottage wall, twirling a parasol and fanning herself. I am a guardian of this place. You may not pass, but I can offer you a cup of Amaryllia tea. Sure, why not? It's not one of the poisonous ones, is it? You're pretty sure it's not. No doubt she'd be much less pleasant if you tried to break down that gate, but just now she's a courteous, soft-voiced woman in a tea gown. The tea's hot and nutty and rather pleasant. She asks of your voyages. She's desperate for news of London, of its mists and nights, its sick, its poor, its fires. She tactfully turns aside questions about the convention, but she says some of the secrets underneath. Come and see me again next time you're here. Bring me a present, if you like. And so yeah, we should do that. Just wondering what the present would be. I'm sure she'd like a nice soul or two, but actually we could do that. We can get a crate of souls. Soul trades, a perfectly valid, if slightly unsavory profession. Man, that is such pretty. It's interesting, like seeing that contrast with the volcano above, which that's so pretty. Alright, yes, we've already got automatic Zonan. Let's go to Anthe. How's it going, Anthe? I am competent. They call it the City of Flowers, but the flowers are crystal, spiral matrices grown on the walls of Anthean caves. Okay, so we would need a sharpness of spleen to go and see her. So let's consider our own condition. And we've got a capacity of sharpness. This is, yeah, only a 50% chance. So let's go sharpen the spleen. Descend into the antechamber reserved for those who flourish at the spleen. The stone of the chamber is veined with red. Some of the members of the Venus Salon wear clothes that reveal the midriff, so that one can see the telltale points of crystal form under their skin. It's a party game here to take turns reading aloud offensive letters to the London newspapers and insulting missives from home, and to compete at not caring in the least. So now let's visit Rosina. She's both healer and patient, convalescing in an ice bath amongst the sharp-spleened Antheans speak of her often. The air gets chillier as you approach, and there are patches of frost on the walls. In the center is a bathtub full of ice, in which sits a woman of obvious state of illness. Several Antheans attend her, one with deft, clear fingers. There are a number of other people attending, mostly who talk among themselves, but sometimes who turn to watch Rosina. She's seen us come in, so let's go and talk to her. She is dying of animescence, the disease of the elder continent. Any passion spreads the disease. She must therefore lie very still in an ice bath and think of things that do not interest her. Going sharp in the spleen protects her against the passion of anger, but the other passions are still a danger. For a long time she looked for a cure to the disease. Tradition ascribes healing features to certain poems, ointments, and postures of the body, but these only delay the gradual combustion. So it's almost stable. Learn more of her. So, yeah, we can do that. For a long time she looked for cures of the body. I was certain the inhabitants of the elder continent would be able to correct what's wrong, she says. But if they know, they refuse to say. Now I can merely keep back the disease so as long as I can, and seek cures of the sentiment instead. If I keep very calm, my symptoms subside. If you find anything in Traveller's works of philosophy or guidance that might help me compose myself, please bring them to me. Okay, so there's Drowny counterpoints and songs. We could do a Drowny love song if we had one. We don't have any songs, but we could go, if we go to Dahut, we can get that. And we could do stuff with things we have stolen from Visage. But not right now because we don't have anything that awaits a support. Okay, so we can give that a go. And what else do we have? And yeah, we can do other things as well. I'll find out what the onlookers are looking for. They aren't assisting in any medical proceedings. You put your question. Rosina glances over the cluster of men and women. Her expression is blank. The emotion that ought to be there has been controlled or wiped away. There are certain idiotic sects. People who want me to suffer for what I have. They follow me around, hoping to be infected by my conflagration. Okay. Cool. That's interesting. Do we have anything else we can do? Nope. Okay. So we'll leave the sick chambers and return. And what else? We have still got the preliminary visit. Consider our own condition. And we could go sharpen the liver, sharpen poisons. We could become more sharp in other things. What do we do? Ah, right. So we do kind of need things. Ah, I see. So we can basically get more and more sharp in various ways. So now we've gone sharpen the spleen. We can go sharpen the liver. Does that let us go anywhere? We could contribute to the celebration, but we don't have any mushroom wine. We could share stories. Nope. We could consider our own condition and also grab sharpness of the lungs. So basically we're making ourselves immune to most poisons and things. Okay, so what else can we do? Is there any more stuff we can do? It's a pity we don't have any news. We've already picked up all of the sharpness we were going to get, so we'll just grab the port report and get out of here. I don't think there's anything else. We'll kind of need all stuff to do anymore, which we don't have. Okay, so we've been to Palmerston. So the plan was to go straight south, basically. Stop off at Gator's Morn and head down to Demo Island and the Salt Lines and then head back. So we'll do that. One thing I really should look at is getting a torpedo, because I think there's stuff I could do if I eliminated the crew of a ship without eliminating the ship itself. But I've never actually invested in torpedoes as weapons. They've got a much narrower firing arc, and obviously torpedo weapons tend to have ammo, which, you know, in general I'm opposed to. Okay, so we'll start with gathering a port report, which requires veils, but we got enough for that, so that was the most important part. And then let's explore the Morn. There's a surprising quantity of actual landscape on the Morn. It's vertical, admittedly, but once you find the Beast Pass and the Urchin Roads, you can traverse it as you would a rocky moor, with the additional throat full of lurching terror. Intriguing smell. So we can try these basic things, or we can do this one. 58% chance Tyrant's Treat, if we pass it, is really nice. So I'm going to go for it. Yes, look at that. So we passed the hearts check and we got 2 iron, 2 hearts, 2 mirrors and 30 fragments, because it was Tyrant Moth Antennae. You know how to deal with these. You break it into fragments and swallow the dripping fragments in each gulp, exhaling briskly to savor the vapors afterwards. It's a complex rather than a pleasant flavor, but its tonic effects are marvelous. So that was a nice little stat boost for not very much. We could even... I don't know, he actually is able to boost this all the way up to 150. So there's not really much reason to not do that. Okay, is there anything else? The afternoon doesn't do much for us. There is a shop where we can buy things, but as you can see, it is stupidly expensive. And we can sell things here. So if we wanted to get in a lot of trouble, we could sell the Brilliant Souls. We're not doing that, because that's dumb. You can buy a concealed apartment, which is kind of neat, which would allow us to easily smuggle things in. But I think we've mostly got skill checks to pass that. And I'll probably spend more on veils. How many secrets do we have? We got 11. Yeah, definitely. Let's just boost our veils up by another 3. Yep, there we go. So we're getting our veils up there. Basically any stat, the higher it goes, the better. So I mean, for reference, our damage is really significantly impacted by our iron. So if I actually would have... Whoops, didn't mean to do that. I wanted to go to the Gazetteer, and if I go over here, you can see 18 damage, and then with just 55 iron, that 18 damage gets turned to, what was it? 23 to 31. So it's 5 to 13 damage that's coming from just pure stats. So there's a good reason to go for it. We're actually not quite... Yeah, we've got to go to Demo Island first. Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. This is where you should pay attention to what your keyboard is showing. Full power is nice and all, but not actually what I'm after. Your island's in range. Also, the faster you're going, and this is something I haven't used very much, it significantly boosts your fuel consumption, but it does let you move a lot faster, so it's useful when you're trying to get away from things. There is a chance, however, every time you use it, your engine's going to explode, which does damage to you, and I think can consume crew members, which doesn't seem very nice. Okay. Iron and Misery Cove Funging Station. Should really look at these stuff and see what I can do to progress the missions, but oh, he's got... Right. I mean, I can definitely proposition him, which could be useful, but I don't have, yeah, the Strange Catch is what I need to progress that, and Carnelian Exile is, doing hers is somewhat of the, well, her quest is somewhat like seeking the name in Fallen London, so I'm not that keen to do that one. Okay, so we're not doing tea with the Factor. We're going to explore Demo Island. And then we can observe the colony, the Blemmingen, yeah. And that, they do resemble the fruiting bodies of fungus. The mound itself looks fungal. They're the same organism, and they communicate and cooperate. And you watch as they drag a marsh rat up the side of the mound, bickering over the disposition of its flesh. As you watch, as half a dozen stand on top of the mound, listening respectfully to the chattering of the seventh. It's improbably reminiscent of a poetry recital. You take notes. So, we're just gaining more fragments from those stories. We could do stuff here, but as you can see, it's expensive, and that's it. Like, we just kind of stopped here to use up something way too at port, and kind of keep going. We'll consume the last bit of supplies on our way down south, but what we will do, I think, is pop around this way a little. And here. Yes! Loot and scuttle. 2 supplies, 1 fuel. And, honey. Okay, we'll just toss some of that over the side. It was worth it. Terror is 43. See? That dropped our terror. It doesn't actually state that outright, which is not ideal, but worth it. And when our terror goes up, I'll look into maybe sleeping with one of my officers. As you do. Actually, speaking of officers, yeah, we just keep running into these ones. So this is because I saved the cook from a previous run. But, yeah, like, first officers. We need a gunnery officer and a surgeon. Those are the slots we have free. It's strange how officers do not take up crew slots as well. So we will visit the unmakers. And get not very much funding from the bazaar, but they're not station 4. And okay, the salt lions with the nacreous outcast. We don't have salt's attention, right? So we need to gather that. We'll get the port report because we didn't actually stop here before, and we'll do the deposit. And see, now we have to actually dump stuff overboard. Definitely not. Definitely not. You know what? We'll dump one of each. There we go. We've got that. And so the next step is to head back. So quick as haven. We can explore the shore. We could get a wretched mog, but I'm not going to do that because it cuts off our options with rats. So we do not have a port report. So we'll chat to the fishermen and they'll give us our port report. Nothing particularly dramatic, but just enough for the Admiralty. Definitely covers our expenses. Let's visit the hilltop above town. Not much wind on the Anthe, but Mud Island suffers eerie gusts and buffets from an inexplicably local fragment of weather. And the air on the hilltop sometimes carries interesting scents. You stand on a clifftop, looking over the little village. Smoke from the chimney of the Cock and Magpie drifts straight upwards. As you watch it, the smoke tilts. The sudden wind thins to a pencil smidge, and then nothing. The wind screams unexpectedly, like a god cut in half. What a noise! It must be the caves around the island channeling the air. At least that's the most comforting explanation. Below you, the locals each take nips from a shared flask and make a toast towards the mainland. The wind is a southerly. Southerly means it's coming from the south to the north, right? I actually don't remember how that works. That's silly. And there's nothing much on the Mutton Island, but yeah, cool. One of the things I find really weird when you play Fallen London, right? Z travel is all it's a separate mini game sort of thing where you're trying to build a particular value until you reach Journey's End. But the end result is Journey's End is a fixed value and you don't pick a destination until you've hit Journey's End. So let me point out where the equidistant points are. This and this are equidistant. Polythreme is effectively twice as far because the Sea of Voices is there. And I think other places I've been able to go down to Port Cunny is like off this coast was the same distance as here or here. It really does not even try to make sense. So definitely one of the first things I do when I've got a more equipped ship is going to be go into the abyss. I mean, that'll be interesting. I really want to see it. Okie dokie. So we've got ourselves something away to a port, which is going to mean we'll stop at Hunter's Keep. Which sister is aligned with Salt? That's the real question, because you can get the god's attention by talking to the sisters. So which one are we after? Okay, so Cynthia I normally would go with because she is very good at giving you things. Giving you iron. So we'll reconnoiter the island to get that port report, and I think we'll talk with Phoebe. Phoebe has a story to tell, of two lovers parted by water, of a raven that carried messages, of a fragment of the moon. She beats time on the table as she speaks, as if to a song only she can hear. The effect is hypnotic. Your attention drifts out to the skylight of the dining room, to the false stars and glittering roof of the cabin. You drift like a puffball spore. The Untersee simmers below. Islands lie like mineral specimens on black velvet. Ships bob like wood chips between the islands. Vast spined things pulse in the depth. There is a scent like the scent before a storm. The storm came, says Phoebe quietly. Everything changed. Somewhere in there you finished the last course. The scowling maid reluctantly serves cheese and Bath Oliver biscuits. So we got supplies, we lost hunger, and we got Storm's attention. So I guess next time around we will go and talk to the middle sister. And that should allow us that piece. And now we'll go to Low Barnet. And we'll tell the tale of Rack once more. I think that's the only one that we really went to that... Oh no, I also can tell the tale of the crystal one for the first time. And in we go. Dock, sunken church with docking ports. So we will get that port report to begin with. And then we will trade stories. No, why is it all locked? Oh, we don't have something awaits your port. Okay. Let's just give it a wait. What's down here? Oof. Why are you so bad? Ooh, that does not look healthy. I'm not going to approach that. That's a mine. I would rather look that up on a wiki, thank you very much. Let's just surface for the moment. And we'll wait upstairs, shall we say. Because I definitely want to do that. So I'll just kind of sit here in home waters for the moment. Just move over to into the light. Because that should reduce our terror growth. Although I think moving up to the shore would do more. Okay, now we'll dive. Except wherever we are counts as being obstructed. Maybe we're over that mine. Come on! Surely... What the frag? Let me dive. Okay, fine. If that's the case, I'm gonna go back to Hunter's Keep. I don't know why it would do this. That's really strange. Okay. So now we can talk with Lucy. Yes. Lucy leans over and whispers to you confidentially. A complex story about a butler, a pig, and an inheritance. You don't follow all of the details, but somehow the pig ends up in an attic and the butler in a vicar's bed. Candles flicker, dishes enter and leave, and the wind butts gently at the window panes. By the time the plum pudding arrives, you're in as cheerful a mood as you have from in months. Oh, so I actually did want to start with the top one. Oh, crap. Except I'm not going to get to do it. A hump of dark rock swathed in mist. Like 100 other Untersee islands, a grand house rises on the rock, a silhouette empty of lights. The uncut grass on the lawns bends and rises. Again in the breeze, you smell damp stone and faintly blood. Go up to the house. Crunch across the gravel up to the door. The brass of the door knocker is tarnished. The paint is beginning to peel in the salt sea air. No one answers, but the door is unlocked. So... The hall is dark. The parlor, too. There are signs of a disturbance here and there. A smashed cup, an overturned piano stool, scratches on the walls. You bend to pick up a page of paper and hold it to the light. It's an unfinished poem. You think the handwriting may be Phoebe's. The absent moon, the gnawing hunger in the heart, the well, the sea, a great many crossings out. There are sounds from the kitchen. You open the door. You push open the door cautiously. Something clings to the ceiling. Something turns yellow eyes to you and hisses. Something, somewhere, has changed. You explored the silent house on Hunter's Keep. So, let's coax the maid down and search the house. Let's coax the maid down. Whoever and whatever she is suffering. She clings to the ceiling like a lizard, fierce and wiry in her ragged uniform. She hisses furiously. When you advance a step, she scurries to the far end of the room, still on the ceiling, weeping. Okay, so she comes down. Those poor Zaylers. You realize in all the time you spent at Hunter's Keep, she'd never spoken. The poor Zaylers. I didn't come here from this. Damn them to the well. She finished the meat. She returns to the ceiling in a single inhuman bound. And so let's search the house. A distant song. You cock your head and listen. Someone is singing. A woman's voice. Soft o'er the moon. The soft o'er the fountain. Lingering falls the southern moon. The sound takes you up the winding stairs to the turret at the back of the house. You try the door at the top. Locked. The sound ceases. It was Phoebe's voice. You call out to her. What happened? We wanted their stories, she explains. We only wanted their stories in the beginning. We get so starved for stories out here. But then Lucy... She breaks down sobbing. Want us to break down the door, you boast and whispers? While you're considering the answer, one of your crew swears and points. Smoke is leaking from beneath the door. I deserve an ending, Phoebe calls out. When you press your hand against the door, you can feel the heat on your palms. The house is aflame. Into terror, 40 fragments. Let's save her. The fire begins in Phoebe's turret room, but it spreads quickly. Zaylers tumble, choking from the door as the smoke billows out. The yellow-eyed maid leaps from a window and streaks across the lawn on all fours. Her mind may be lost to grief and madness, but at least you can save her flesh from the flames. A bucket chain passes up water from the Z, enough to slow the flames a fraction, and to soak the cloths you wrap yourselves in. You dash through the flames, your skin crisping, eyebrows sizzling, your hair grows back patchy after. Phoebe is slumped against the wall. You seize her and sling her over her shoulder and dash out. The spine of the house breaks with a roar as the roof falls in. Sparks fly up towards the false stars so far above. The death of the house takes hours, but it is total. Only a cindered shell remains. Phoebe weeps when she wakes up, racking sobs that shake her body. You should have left me, is all she'll say for the longest time. Her face is horribly burned. She goes bandaged after, like the half-dead of the tomb colonies. Perhaps she's half-dead herself. It can be difficult to tell underneath. So we lost a crew, but we did gain the scarred sister, and we have a port report. Keep's End, and this is the last we'll be able to use Hunter's Keep as like a convenient stopover. We just got ruins, and we can pick over its shell to gain a little bit more. So we got an outlandish artifact and memory of a distant shore. So if we look at our crew officers, we finally have a freaking... Oh, wait, no, we've had it for a while. We finally have a freaking surgeon. So here we go. Scarred Sister. It really feels like the surgeon or the chief engineer should allow you to gain pages, but they can't. None of them let you gain pages with secrets. So let's invite her to dine with us. She's usually in the sick bay or up on the deck. She listens to the wind, watching for the rare storms of the Untersee. I wanted us to move to Anthe's Keep, she confesses, because I had a romantic notion about storms. The funny thing is, notion turned out right. You know Zaylers talk about the god in the roof? He's real. I used to hear him in my dreams. She leans in closer behind the bandages in the lamplight, her eyes are dark as ink. He's terribly cross. Okay, we're done for now. We're gonna wait for something which we'll put. Let the tower build a bit. There we go. Finally. It'll just pop down. Definitely should have my lights running while I do that, just because the tower builds and You lose all controls when you do it. So now we can go to Zubmariner and actually trade stories, which is why I wanted to go there in the first place. Sunken church with docking pods. Here we go. Trade stories with the congregation. Why can I do that now when I couldn't before? Whatever. Eager for new tales. So we could do Anthe. Yep. Its memory still gleams. You talk of consuming desire on mornings where every moment gleams with promise. You talk about broken vows and a love shattered, about a heart growing sharp as a barber's razor. You talk about how clearly we see the passion of others while obscuring our own motives. Listening sailors cast their eyes down, looking into the past. And then, not doing Nook. I mean, we could, but I don't think I got to sell that before. I couldn't do Rack. Why not? Didn't I have a port report from Rack? Maybe I forgot to get that. That's dumb. Let's participate in another contest of stories. Take advice from the parson. Pews are full, but there's room for another contestant. Could you win the audience with the tales of your adventures? The parson takes your side. Every day these people hear fables and fabrications. Give them something true. And if you win, he nods towards Belltower. I'd be very interested in seeing what goes on in there. Okay. Give them Tale of Urgul, Dahut, Gantpole. Wait for the next one. Okay. So basically, if we've unlocked interesting things at these places, we've got true stories we can tell. That's really cool. Okay. And I like that you've got this as kind of a hub. Definitely not touching you. That is a thing to look up on a wiki. New. Alrighty. So now we sail into London and well, it was quite a trip today. We got everywhere. We got over to the Shepherd Isles and to Station 3, to Polythreme, Dahut, Godfall, Port Cecil, Nook, Pigmote, Gators, Anthe, Palmerston. Went to Nook and Pigmote twice. Demo Island twice. Martin Island. That's a lot of ports. And that's what you find in this game. Like, each time you go out, you can afford to go a bit longer, especially if you've got the spending money on you. So, let's just see. If I talk to you, I've got 8 secrets, so let's improve my veils one more, because it makes hiding things easier. Ideally, I want that to be as easy as possible. Ah, welcome home. You may ask how it is I'm here to meet you. You may remark that we have eyes in the west and eyes on the hill. In fact, we're more eyes than a not oracle, and they're all glad to see you, of course, and your cargo. So I'll hand over the cargo and claim payment. Oh, very good, very good. Please accept this small token of my thanks, and also accept my thanks, and patience thanks, which we being persons of honor, what understands the true nature of dealings, is much more important. Still, spending money is always good, innit? And the captain must eat, and so must the ship, which is why, if you look under the pier, you will find a few helpful contributions of fuel and the like. So, yeah, we could have sold that for like $250 or maybe $150. It's definitely better to bring them back here. When we get fuel and supplies, we have nothing to hide. So, we will let them investigate. Interesting that we don't have the option to hide, but it's the ministry that are here, and we've got nothing to hide, so go for it. And we lust a suspicion. They leave scuff marks on the newly scrubbed decks and take great pleasure in tangling the rigging. Find nothing more dangerous than a mouldy ship's biscuit. Let's collect messages. Something's changed out there. Someone wants to sign on, and we've got another mission, and all of that. All of which we can do. Well, we get this immediately So take a payment across the ocean and bring back a little package. I wish you would tell us where, but let's do that. So we need to go to where? The Khan's Heart. Okay, so yet another new destination to actually explore. That's pretty cool. Now. You. No. You? Because we need to go to Khan's Heart anyway. It's the outlandish artifacts he's after, so we can't do anything with that. Do we have anything we want to do? Could do stuff with the lamentable relics. Definitely we can sell them. But let's see. Deliver the Sphinx Stone for the first part. There we go. 500 echoes. Good. That puts us back at where we were before all of this. Let's look at the new recruits. Nothing. No new officers, so we will ignore the officers. We don't need the extra crew person. So let's sell off our portapods. This is just the kind of wrap up of the immediate things. So submit my portapods as Vindicator's Mon. Get us 30 echoes and a fuel. Been to Hunter's Keep. And so they're keeping well. Mount Palmerston. Yep. Brimstone Convention. They trouble me, Captain. Port Cecil. Yep. Principals of Coral, who really wanted to go there. Let's talk to the pirate. We've been to the pirate monks. New accomplishment. Surveyed Godfall. Also increases our favors admiralty. Always nice. And we can tell him about the Hunter's Keep end. I trust the sisters are keeping well. No. This is ghastly news. The poor girls. We've been warned they weren't safe. We'd warned them they weren't safe, but it had been so long. I thought, well, it's done now. Thank you. I'll have to look into the matter of a supply post. So, they now know that. Station 3. Excuse me, let me call a colleague in. This is my colleague, Mr. Villain of the Ministry of Public Decency. Mr. Villain, this is the good captain's report here. If you would care to... Yes, the fire's already lit. Let us... There we go. Now only ashes remain, and it might have caused such a lot of trouble. Thank you, Captain. We appreciate your discretion. Here's the payment. You need not trouble yourself further in this affair. So, we're done. We will never get to get a port report from Station 3. But it's 100 echoes, so it's pretty good. Pigmote Isle. Not sure I heard you correctly, but that's fine. Still give us 10 echoes for it. Polythreme. 50 and 1 fuel. The king with 100 hearts. What a useful fellow. Without his exports, I'd be delivering my own coal. Salt Lines. Because I was always taking an interest in that place. Quaker's Haven. Man, we've got a lot of these. Dahut. Oh, the Admiral collects these. Did you ask Adrani to marry you? Nope. No new favors. Interesting. I guess we're pretty high up on the favors at the moment. Demo Island. Nook. You've been to the Great Moor, have you? No clothes at all? Wild orgies? Fights to death in the altogether? The secretary grows crimson as he stares at your report. Tell me everything. Slowly. 50 echoes, which, given you need wine to make it in, that's pretty important. Wow, we've got a lot of fuel from these. Low Barnett. And then, lastly, this one. Yeah, we'll just do it. We do hear some peculiar tales of that place. Oh, good heavens, here's your payment. This is quite extraordinary. I must rush upstairs with this immediately. And there we go, 50 echoes and a favor. And we got, what, like 17, 18 fuel from this? So, that's pretty ridiculous. But that's what you get from a long journey. And we've got another 500 echoes worth of stuff. So, I've worked out fairly well. As you can see, like, this is sustainable. It's just longer and longer journeys. And we even ended up with less terror than we started with. Admittedly, we've now lost the ability to get 2 of those port reports again, but we can adjust the loop. We can go to more places. We're fairly careful to avoid combats that otherwise will bother us. We've got about 100 echoes we can spend next time when we're outfitting for a new journey. And we've got a little bit more space to deal with, although Scintillac is kind of gonna take up space. Rose Market. Now, don't think there's anything we particularly want to sell. So next time around, we'll go do something else. We'll do another trip. Maybe, we'll need to buy supplies and things, but maybe we'll also look at improving our guns or something. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you spending the time and effort watching the videos I make. If you'd like to watch more, on the left there should be another video from this playlist. On the right there will be whatever YouTube recommends, and in the center there is a convenient subscribe button just in case you need it.